Hi everyone, welcome back again to Spiritual Growth Tarot. Thanks for joining me, I really appreciate it. I'm Denise, if you don't know me. Hey! For all those who do, high five! If you make it through the end of my long videos, high five! So anyway, I'm going to read on the, I did one reading already on student loan debt, but I want to see if anything has changed, and maybe get some timeline. So this will be an update on the future of student loan debt in the United States. Okay, let me drop the camera down and get started. Okay, so I decided to use this oracle, the Awakened Soul, just to see, because there's cards in this deck like forgiveness. You know, there's different aspects of life in this deck that, excuse me, are really beautiful. But I want to see, will there be student loan forgiveness? Let's see the truth about what's coming up in the future. And of course, this is an update because I did one video before, which looked pretty good. If I remember back, I haven't watched it though; it's been so long. But let's see what's coming through in the future as of early August here, 2021. I forget if today's the 4th or the 5th, somewhere in there. I think it's the 4th. Okay, the future of student loan debt in the United States of America. Okay, and I might use the tarot if we need, but let's see what comes through with this deck here. Wisdom. Authenticity, okay. Sensuality. That doesn't really make sense. Trust and perspective. Okay. So, hold on. Let's see. So, starting off with these first three cards, it feels like there's definitely like looking into it, and of course it would have to be like verified. This could have to do with keeping up the payments. In meanwhile, there of course there could be like the I don't know if you call it a moratorium or whatever when there's a hold on payments, but I feel like it's important. I think the message here is it's really important to keep up the payments, and then from there, so the wisest thing to do, here's what the message is. Yeah, the wisest thing to do is to make sure that payments are kept up, even though we might want to just not think about it and think about other things. But the sensuality card has to do with being, fully connected to your body and really being embodied. So these cards do say that we have to be very present with our debt, present with our... yeah, it's ridiculous though, the amounts of student loans. It's just, I mean, what these schools have gotten away with is awful. But we've signed up for it. So to be the wisest that we can, we do have to take responsibility for those payments, keep the payments up, and then stay grounded, of course, in that payment plan that you had, I think is the message there. And then get the bigger picture of it, get some perspective, think long term with it, which, the student loans are really, really long term. And then, but to trust, or actually the trust card came first. So to trust that you can see into the big picture. Actually see into the big picture. Let me go ahead and draw one more card just to see. Yeah, and just kind of surrender to it. So some things, when cards come through like this and I don't get an actual, absolute, like yes or no or this or that, that tells me that something's still in play. Something is definitely still in play. So surrender to the payment plan, take responsibility for that, and just wait and see the bigger picture, and just trust that things will work out. But we do have to keep fighting for it. We can keep fighting for it, but then actually, absolutely surrender to it. So let me use the tarot and see what we can get here. Hold on. Let me allow for reversals here. So I think what we got with the oracle there is advice. I think we got good advice there. But let's see what the process is going to be moving forward in time. So let's look at the future, again, of student loan debt. Okay. Three of Pentacles reversed. The Tower. That's big change. Ten of Pentacles reversed. Wheel of Fortune. And Ten of Wands. Okay. This actually is pretty good. Look at all these majors. Wow. So what we have going on here is, with our theme, the Ten of Pentacles reversed, that feels to me like, in the context of this question, that there's been a lot of instability, and there's been a lot of when it comes to the people who have given the loans, the organizations, and I can't remember if, oh my goodness, I should have done some research ahead of time. I can't remember the names of those companies or at least one or two of them that took over the loans. This tells me there's some disputes around the loan amounts. And that's particularly here, particularly apparent here with this Three of Pentacles reversed, because there's something here where there's what's going to happen in the future. It's going to be seen that they were very disorganized, and there wasn't the teamwork that needs to happen in order to support and make big change to get out from under this burden. But this tells me it's more about, I feel like it's more about being really, really disorganized. And of course, there was no motivation. When the Three of Pentacles is reversed, there's a lack of motivation to make change. But the Tower comes in and blows everything apart. The Tower is about big change. And misfortune and painful loss. But the painful loss is, there could be that there's disputes around who gets relief and who doesn't. So that's what, again, back to those cards in the beginning, just make sure you keep up your payments. And then some big change comes in with the Wheel of Fortune. That's actually really good. It's a turning point, and it's usually really, really happy events as to the burden with the Ten of Wands. So I think that even though, so if you look at it from a different layer, if we haven't had any motivation to keep the payments up, because it's been such a big burden, I think the key here is that we have to keep fighting for it, but know that the big change is going to come to get out from under the burden, because the tower just blows everything apart. And with COVID, it has been a huge disaster. It has been, something that was just awful that, we're still having to go through. We're not done with it in any way, shape, or form. It's just, vaccinations are great, but we're still dealing with it everywhere. And it has definitely blown things apart. So I feel like this can be, sometimes this card comes through when there's a bankruptcy. It's usually destruction, or big change, because of a crisis. And COVID has definitely been the crisis. And yes, it's hard to keep motivation to keep payments up when you're under that type of a crisis. It could be saying that, these cards could definitely be saying that we can get support with, or those of you that if you have missed payments, don't lose heart, because you could get support because of COVID. This can be COVID breaking everything apart, and this can be the challenge to keep the payments up right here. And now I know that even if you file for bankruptcy, I don't think it gets you out of student loan debt, but there can be support because of COVID. I think that's what brings in the big change to get out from under the burden. But the Ten of Wands often comes in to say, hang in there. This is, it can be an overload, and it can be very worrisome, but it does have to do with just taking self-responsibility and, maybe finding a new way to carry the load, right? But to keep moving forward and not giving up, because it's almost there. We're almost done. Yeah, interesting. Okay, so let me use a different system and see what we get. If I use the Kipper, let's see. Yeah. So that last deck there was this Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot, and now I'm going to use the Ciro Marchetti. Oh, his name is not it. It's Ciro Marchetti, Kipper, and it has some extra cards. So yeah, there we go. Let's see what we get. Future of student loan debt forgiveness. Okay. Okay. This actually isn't bad. It will take time. But then again, this card here is about something improving. Well, this looks like immediate support for people who are really needing help, and I think because of COVID. But we do have this card here. This card can be a couple of years sometimes. This is Biden right here. This is Joe Biden. Who else could this be? There's no other main man other than federal support. And this is a card of hopes and wishes and dreams, and bringing something into fruition, grounding it down. So this is on his mind. He's very concerned about it. But it could take some time because, of course, there's so many other things going on. But there could be some type of COVID relief that has come through that I don't know anything about. So definitely check that out, because we have the card of investigation here. So investigate. These two cards mirror each other. So investigate into what type of support there could be as we are like laboring through this time of great concern on Biden, but this time of COVID. And this gift, this card up here is about support that we don't have to work for. It kind of mitigates this issue that's going on here that we're laboring under, and it knights over here to Biden, and it knights over here to Biden's intimate space, like in his intimate circle. So that would be his administration. So this tells me the Biden administration is trying to help this community with COVID. I think there's more. I think there's so much more COVID relief that we don't know about. And that's the thing. Like, look at this moratorium on that ran out on rent relief, but then it turns out that there's like $92 million. Oh, I could have that wrong with a different issue. It's either 92 or $49 million that went to all the states. No, wait, I think it's billion. Yeah, I think it's billion that went to all the states, and it hasn't been claimed yet. The states haven't done the work to get it to the people. So we have to go back to, the community of each state and know that the wealth is there. The wealth is there. This privileged lady here is standing in for the support. We've got the gift of the support that I think was, finalized within that, remember the COVID relief bill. So there could be something for to support student loans under the COVID relief bill. That's what I'm getting, but I could be wrong. So we're just going to have to, do your investigation, investigate into what support is there while we're laboring under COVID as this huge community. And both of these cards are about something, very, very long term. So there's something long term that is set in place for the community, but the investigation needs to happen. Now, because I was asking how it's going to go in the future, it could be that there's more work that Biden does, because he is very concerned about people, that he's concerned about the workforce, and he's thinking long term and how he can help. Absolutely. Okay. So in the future, there's going to be more looking towards support for people, and he's already working on it. So this is good. These cards are actually good for the future. Yeah. Okay. So sorry it's not more detailed right now, but it feels like something's still kind of in the flux, or in flux, where he's thinking about it. So we're just going to have to keep watching and waiting, and investigating. You can set yourself a Google alert and for updates as to student loan debt relief and forgiveness. And then just, wait and see what comes up. But see what's out there too as far as getting support. Okay, so I guess this is all I can get for now. And I'll just keep you guys all in my prayers for having this finalized and having the relief you need. Seeing that happen already. Okay, thanks you guys. Take good care. Bye.